number 2.
Yeah.
Like a human.
Run through those one more time here. Oh yeah, my blurb there. People know where to find it. Let's see. We'll get started here real quick. Just run through those questions one more time so we know what we're doing. Or maybe it's not going to run through them one more time. Here's my splash, my little blurb here. And Dr. Jeff Morrow.
Yeah.
The doctor is in.
Indeed.
Okay, let's see. How are we doing? Oh, I better see if we got any comments here. No comments yet so far. Got about 20 people that seem to be watching or have taken a peek in one form or another. Yeah.
Great. Oh, I see that. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go with the layman's philosophy. And the first question is what? Coming up here pretty quick here. What benefits does art provide society? Does art hurt society in any way? Is the first question. The next question, how likely do you think it will be that humans will last another 1,000 years without killing ourselves off? And the third question today, what do you attribute the biggest successes in your life to? And how about your largest failures? Okay, so those are our questions today. Okay, so welcome, Jeff.
Thank you very much, Dan. How are you this fine day?
Doing pretty good. It's so nice. The weather is so beautiful today. Yesterday was a little bit drizzly and wet, but today it's beautiful outside, and I'm enjoying it.
It's a gorgeous day.
Yes. Yeah, so let's get right into it. I know you've got things on your schedule to do. So the first question that we're going to talk about today is related to art. What benefits does art provide society? What benefits does art provide society? What do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think art provides great benefits to society. I think art is an escape. Art enables you to share ideas and share feelings, share kind of constraints. And I take it when you talk about art, you're talking about all kinds of art, not painting, music, literature, right? Movies, music, etc. And sure, I think it's a great escape. I think it's necessary. It's interesting because I went through a phase in my life, being a musician and a writer. I've been through art, working on art, thinking even making a living using art.
Wow.
But then I realized that that's difficult in itself to make a living using art. When I came to Japan, I kind of lost the art a little bit. I maintained, of course, music and whatnot and writing, but I kind of lost that kind of thinking about making a living using art. And then I became more interested in business and thinking that that art and I did go through this phase for a couple of years. Art is a waste of time. For me, I thought, right?
Right.
Why am I wasting time, with art when I could be, working on a career or making money, etc. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Then I, went through years doing that and being kind of not entirely fulfilled. Right.
Right.
So I kind of realized that they all sort of go together. You can be very artistic and creative in using it in a career or in making money and what have you, right? In living and in surviving. So I think it's they all go together. I realized, sure.
So what did you do? So what form did your art take? I mean, I know that you play guitar, but
yeah,
how did you?
right,
where were you using that art?
Right. I just, in playing in bands and things like that and writing music in my early day, right? And because I went to school in New York and I was around music a lot. Actually, my first thought was to work behind the scenes in music. So I kind of started off doing that, I worked in several recording studios and did some stagehand work, and I enjoyed that. Of course, it's difficult to live in New York while making not so much money, right?
Right.
But I always, kept my art going, music, playing in bands and whatnot. In the band I was in New York, the bass player, his brother actually, was working for a record label, had contacts with the record label, and we thought we might be able to get a chance. We were very close, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And then it fell through in a way. But we kind of started working with a producer, and that didn't take us to the level we wanted to go to. And then, unfortunately, our drummer committed suicide.
Wow.
For other reasons, of course, not music, but other reasons, right? And so that was a harsh blow, right? And so at that point too, we
playing guitar and writing music, and you did, so what you were doing some the engineering aspect of it too, and so on. Yeah, okay.
A little bit of engineering and basic maintenance work, yes, and stagehand work, which is setting up stages when artists come to town and things like that. That part wasn't steady because you didn't have an artist all the time for the company I was working for anyway, right? And recording studio, I went to trade school actually for a year in audio technology. And graduated and did an internship at a studio, which paid me $50 a week. Right,
$50 a week in New York City. That doesn't go very far, does it?
No, it doesn't go very far. So obviously, I had to get extra jobs and work at other things. And then my year of interning was up. I made it a year.
Mm-hmm.
Then I worked for another recording studio, and they paid me a similar job. It was an intern, which could have led to a full-time thing, but they paid me $100 a week.
Oh, wow.
A little bit of a raise.
Yeah.
Still though, I felt, well, gosh, this is difficult. Yeah. So then I decided to go back to school, actually. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I felt education was the key. And I'm happy I did that. So when I went back to school, I kept my art going, kept playing music and whatnot, and wrote more fiction, and decided to go and continuing in school.
So how long have you been playing the guitar then altogether? Oh
gosh, I really started learning when I was about 11.
Okay.
So over 40 years, yeah.
Wow.
I put it down for 3 years and picked it back up when I was 15.
Okay. And you've written music also?
Pardon?
You've written music also?
Yes, I've written songs. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Written songs. I can't say I'm a really great proficient, music theorist or reader of music.
Mm-hmm.
But I know enough, to write songs and to have a great time doing it.
Okay, great.
For me, that was the art that kind of kept me going, actually. Yeah, sure.
But when you talk about writing that's more your novels that you write. Is that right?
Yeah, well, writing music, lyrics too, right?
Mhm.
And also fiction, right? And
Mhm.
yep, novels, stories.
Right.
Exactly. So
What
that's
kind of
another.
stories do you like to write? What genre of stories do you like?
Yeah, I love horror stories, actually.
Horror
Right, I've
stories.
loved horror stories since the first time I heard Stephen King. The
Okay.
first time I heard Stephen King, my friend had the book The Stand, and I think I was about 13 years old, and we traveled together. Our parents were good friends, and we traveled together. We went camping and whatnot together, and our summer homes were close to one another. So we would travel to the summer home reading Stephen King, The
Mhm.
Stand, in the car on the way, and
Right.
I was just intrigued. I was intrigued, and he was the impetus of this intrigue. My friend was about a year and a half older than I was,
Mhm.
so he kind of introduced me to Stephen King.
Great.
And then I picked up the book Night Shift. I'm not sure if you or anyone else is familiar with that book. It's a book of short horror stories,
Okay.
and the stories are some of them are quite out there. They're weird and wild stories, but they just intrigue me too, and I
Huh.
just got really interested in those stories.
Interesting. Stephen
Yeah.
King, I know Stephen King better from the movies that have been made from his works rather than reading the books themselves. When talk
Sure.
about my horror story reading, it goes back to most significantly probably Edgar Allan Poe was the author that I read the most that were a horror genre. Um,
Sure.
yeah, I enjoyed those, and I remember performing some of Poe's material. I memorized the Cask of Amontillado as part of our high school drama competition. I did that. It was
Great.
quite good. I love Poe's stories. Yeah, but I
I
think
love those stories too.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
After
But
that, I got more into science fiction though, rather than the horror. I mean, horror has always been, one of my loves, but I think it was surpassed in my mind by science fiction.
I hear you. Yeah, I love science fiction too. Sure, of course, I love science fiction. It's great too. Or science fiction is. I love Isaac Asimov and
Right.
of course these writers.
Harlan
Philip K.
Ellison,
Dick is
Dick. Yeah,
excellent.
sure. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I tend to I don't know. I tend to be interested in writing horror more.
Mm-hmm.
It's more accessible
Yeah.
to me. I'm
Yeah.
not quite sure why, but yeah, but no, it's
I write
something-
horror too. People read what I write and say this is horrible.
yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
It's hard. I've been trying to, like I told you, I think before, I've been trying to get a short horror story or two published, and my timing is wrong or something. It's every time I submit to a magazine, for example, or the magazine goes out of business, or they don't like the story. One time I got a response after a year of submitting a story, and they said, "Thank you. Well, we're not interested." I had given up by that point already. A lot of publishers don't like to publish horror short stories.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's just no market for them, really.
Aren't there a lot of? Aren't there? There are a lot of periodicals, and online periodicals as well as actual publications, paper publications, that carry stories. So it seems to me that it would be an almost limited target for that you could submit your stories to. I mean, it'd be time.
I'm trying. I'm still trying. I haven't submitted one in a little while, but yeah, I'm going to keep trying. Sure.
Right, yeah.
I had a podcast going on for a while, a short horror story podcast. Now listen to this story, a story about a story writing. Okay, so I had this podcast. It was called Edge of Darkness, and I want to get it going again. It was my short horror stories. It was on Podomatic, hosting site. And I kind of really enjoyed doing that. And one day I had this a very strange experience. I was doing the podcast, and I got my most horrific voice going, and it was just a cloudy and bleak day, and I felt, oh my gosh, this is really going to stun people. This is, listen to this voice I have, right? Well, it's horrific in a way. And I said, okay, well, I finished work that day. I went home and I said, I'm going to work on this podcast, right? I set up the equipment, started recording, and my house started going like this. Very same day. And that was the first earthquake that we had in Kumamoto in 2016, that very same day.
Okay, so now we know what the cause was. Okay,
Yeah, right.
it all is coming together now, right? Okay.
Yeah, I felt that. I said, oh my gosh, did I cause this earthquake? Did I mean, my God, right?
All right, so Jeff, just do us a favor, stop writing, right? We don't need any more earthquakes around here.
I felt that. I said, oh my gosh, did I cause this? I'm going to stop this for a while, right? And I mentioned this to a few people, and they were kind of like, yeah, maybe you should stop those war stories. An English student I had, a Japanese English student I had, said, she said, maybe you should stop that. Maybe I should. So.
That leads right into the second half of our question here. Do you think that art has any harm to society?
That is a good question too, because I think it does the harm in the sense that it makes people think that they can do it, for a living, or that it means kind of more than it is. Actually, I think it's great. We need art, but I think it's slightly harmful in the respect that, that way that people that they think they can go further with it and do more with it, right?
Right. Yeah. I kind of agree. And to me, art, the art itself, I think, is not harmful, but yeah, it's the way people treat the art and the artist. It has so much therapeutic value both for the artist and the people that are partaking of that art, whatever form it is, music or literature or paintings and so on, whatever form the art is taking. But the therapeutic value both for the artist producing it and those enjoying that art. But our society, and this is not the fault of art or the artist, but more the fault of capitalism.
Right.
The exploitive, the exploitive aspect of capitalism on these artists, and pushing them to produce greater amounts and so on, so that these people who are not artists but are basically just the businessmen and the other leeches in society that are drawing off the income from this, that aren't actually producing anything themselves, but are leeching away from the artists who are producing this. But also, I mean, the idea that regardless of how talented an artist is, and although the art that they are producing has, I think we both recognize, great value, that value shouldn't necessarily be in the form rewarded in the form of excessive amounts of wealth to these artists. Some movie stars that are making $10 million for a movie, or different types of artists that are musicians that sell out concerts and they're making millions and millions of dollars and so on. I mean, it's one thing to be rewarded, but to be put on such a pedestal, I think, is a disservice. I think it's a disservice to the artist. I think it's a disservice to society as a whole. I think it's a disservice to the lesser known artists who are going to be pushed to the wayside because of the predominance of the select few. Did I lose you there? You seem to have frozen. Oh my goodness. All right, I was a little too critical of art there, and it's frozen Jeff in his tracks. Oh, he's gone black. Oh my goodness, I'm all alone here. What will I do? What will I do? Um, anyway, yeah, so that's kind of the way I view art. That again, like Jeff and I both said, it's amazingly valuable, and yet all art is valuable, and our society tends to excessively reward a small segment of the artistic community and don't give an adequate award to a large segment of the artistic community. There are so many talented people in the world producing such a wide range of art and of every genre, be it music or writing or theatrical arts or whatever it is. And, you know, this is kind of nice that there are platforms such as Haps and YouTube and things like that, even TikTok, although that's pushing the definition of art a little bit too far, perhaps. But we do have all these different platforms that make it possible for people uh, to display their art and perhaps get a little better known. Let me try and re-invite Jeff and see if that helps. Okay. We'll see if Jeff can come back and join us again. He seems to be perhaps he's having some technical difficulties. His computer is funky, according to the Jeff. Okay, so I guess I will plod along on my own. Let's see, what do we got here? Oh, he's communicating with me through another messaging app on our computer here. It cut off. Yes, it did cut off. Okay. Okay, so that was the first question. So yeah, definitely, I think Jeff and I both agree, and I hope that most people agree that art has great benefits for society. It's both an outlet for the artists themselves, as well as entertainment, inspiration, insight. So many different benefits to people in society and society as a whole, cultural influencing and so on. Okay, but yeah, does it hurt society? I mean, I'm not one. I'm one who believes in absolute freedom of expression. The censorship and so on, I think, is inappropriate in art. If I mean, again, that's a tricky thing, because when there are young people who could be perhaps negatively influenced by some forms of art, would it be better to have that art unavailable to young people? Again, perhaps it falls more under the umbrella of parenting rather than censorship in the community as a whole. Then again, on the other hand, parents are already hard pressed to try and provide all the guidance that young people need today. The world is growing in complexity each and every day, and being a parent and being a child is more of a challenge every day. So does some art, I think, is helping us. Some art maybe is adding more challenges to some aspects of parenting and raising a good balanced person and so on. but still, I am very reluctant to even entertain the idea of of censorship. Excuse me. I just don't like that idea. I don't think that the harm from art
Hi there.
from that.
Sorry about
Oh,
that.
Jeff is back here. Let's see. So let me turn that off and turn this back on. Turn this on. Yeah. There we are. Okay.
Back in
Jeff
action.
is
Sorry.
back. Okay.
Yeah. So yes, indeed.
All right. So I droned on, and I think probably far enough, long enough about art while I was waiting for you to rejoin us. Let's go on to the next question.
Sure.
The question is, how likely do you think it will be that humans will last another 1,000 years without killing ourselves off? So
I think
we can last.
I think we'll be able to last. I think
Yeah.
we will find a way to last without killing ourselves off. I think humans have enough ingenuity to determine what's causing us to go down the tubes, as it were, and to try to bring ourselves back to a realistic kind of living. Yes, right. Without over exploiting the natural resources, with kind of trying to have enough respect and kindness to each other in order to do that.
Wow, that was a special effect there. You know what? You're getting artistic on our broadcast here, Jeff. That was really. I don't know what was going on there, but.
Sorry.
Oh, you got quite the echo chamber going there. What's going on?
I'm not sure what's going on today.
Yeah.
Wacky stuff as usual.
The consummate artist, right? Every chance to throw in a special effect whenever you can do it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. I hope it worked well.
Yeah. Let me give you my view on that, on the idea of humans killing ourselves off. I agree with you that I don't believe that humans will kill themselves off completely. I mean, I don't think humans are going to go the way of the dinosaur, and they're just, there won't be any of us left. What I do believe, though, is that it's very likely that the human population is going to take an extreme nosedive due to some circumstances, be that a pandemic that is more deadly than the current COVID that we're living through now, or whether it's the climate change, the dangers of climate change, or so on. I mean, we're talking about killing ourselves off, and not some not some cosmic event, where an asteroid or a meteor,
right.
of large size.
Right. The pandemic and stuff that's kind of secondary, though. I mean, it's kind of something that we can't control in all cases. So we're not really killing ourselves off.
Well, right? I mean, we could. I mean, conspiracy theorists say that the COVID is a man-made virus. It was produced in a lab somewhere, and released, into the, so that's another possibility that, some group could do that. Rather, discounting the idea that the current COVID-19 was that, but that, some man-made, also, climate change. That is likely to be. A natural cycle, the Earth's natural cycle that goes through warm phases and so on. But human influence is now, human technology, and the sheer number of human beings on the planet is now at the point where we are actually having an influence on climate and so on. And, so I honestly believe that, whether it's through climate change or, some through war of some type, some conflict, be it a nuclear weapon or a biological weapon or something like that, or through a pandemic type of thing, again, a man-made pandemic or something. I really believe that there's going to come a time in human history, and probably not too far. I mean, I don't necessarily, I'm not waiting for it to happen in my lifetime, but sometime in the not too far distant human experience here, there is going to be a drastic reduction in the number of people. But I don't think they're going to disappear. I mean, be it conflict or be it pandemic or be it climate change, there's going to be a pocket of the humans that is going to find a way to survive. We're very adaptable. We live everywhere from the North Pole to the to the equators and so on. So I don't think we're going to kill ourselves off 100%, but I think we're going to kill ourselves off to a major degree.
Okay, I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll agree with that. That there will come a point of no return for much of the population, right? And many of them might be killed or quelled off or what have you, right? Or disappear. But yeah, the more resourceful ones, yeah, sure. I think we will find a way.
Yeah.
Right. At least maybe not everybody, but right. At least some of the population, a good majority of the population.
Right.
I mean, look, we already have rovers on Mars. Yeah.
Right.
Which is an amazing feat in itself. I mean, we've sent people to the moon. That's amazing, right? I mean, and they sent people to the moon in the 1960s, which probably had less computer power than this cell phone here.
That's right. That's for sure. Yeah. It's amazing what they were able to do with the computers at that era. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, so yeah, reminds me of stories like the Terminator series, where humans created an artificial intelligence. So again, although the machines are the ones that were killing off the people, humans created the machines. So we did it to ourselves, right? In that story, right? So I really believe that there's maybe not the Terminator type story, and maybe not, this or that, but I believe that somehow humans are going to put their foot in it and mess it up, and a bunch of us are gonna, like I said, I don't think we're going to go as a species the way the dinosaur and totally disappear, but I think that the human population is going to take an extreme nosedive, and it's going to be a sad thing, but I think humans are going to do it to themselves. I really do.
Yeah, I think largely we do have an influence, as you said, right? We do have an influence, negatively, right, with climate change and whatnot, and right. I think there will come that time.
Yeah.
Let's hope a pandemic doesn't come that's worse than COVID.
Right. Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, you listen to the experts, or the self-proclaimed experts anyway. I don't know who is an expert in these things, but yeah, it seems like it's more. They seem to go with the idea that it's more a question of when, not if. So
yeah.
That's not so. But again, even if that happens, it would be a disaster for the human race. But again, there's going to be naturally a certain percentage of the population is going to be resistant to whatever that is. That we see people that get COVID and they shrug it off. They don't even notice that they've had it, right? And yet other people who lose their lives to this same virus. So, the breadth and depth of the human genome is just amazing. So, yeah, humans are going to survive. I believe that humans are going to survive. On what level? That's a different question, but we will survive one way or another. All right, I know you've got things to do. You're a busy man, but I want to get to our last question here.
Not till 12, so I'm good.
Okay, what do you attribute the biggest successes in your life to?
So, that's a good one. Yeah, I think not giving up, right, is a large part of it, right? Not giving up. A stick-to-itiveness, I guess grit, you could call it, right? Not that I'm the most gritty person on the face of the earth, or not that, I haven't given up on certain things, but I think to my successes, I think that's what kept me going. Sure. I attribute it to keeping on going, yes, and not giving up.
Okay.
The regrets I have are all that I did give up, I think, right? And I think most people say that, right? You regret what you didn't follow through with, right?
But
you
even the
didn't.
most successful person, even the most successful life has seen failures on some level of some types. What do you attribute your largest failures to?
Yeah, what do you mean when you say failure?
Well, that's you can
Yeah.
define it as you see fit. Or what you determine is have you lived a life without failure? That would
Oh, of
be,
course not.
of course not. Okay, so whatever you feel, was a failure, in your mind, something that you failed at or things that you have failed at, what do you attribute that failure to?
Yeah, I think the biggest things I feel I've failed at are not following through.
Mm.
Not having the focus or the drive, I guess it is, right?
So it's
To
just two
continue
sides
on.
of the same coin then. So if
It
your
is.
successes are driven by that determinism, that will to succeed, and that not giving up, and just propelling yourself forward towards your goal, is what you attribute your successes to. And when you did not do that, that's was your failure, right?
Yeah, I think, of course, I have some very lucky times. For example, I guess it would be lucky. I had a bar here in Kumamoto,
Mm-hmm.
and I happened to retire in 2015, right? And that was before the earthquakes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we had a few problems in the bar, so I was kind of lucky to get out before that, or to not be involved in that. And then COVID too, actually, right? Came around. So I'm somewhat lucky. I mean, in that, if you want to look at it like that.
So you believe in luck?
Part. I do.
You believe in luck? Okay.
I
All
think,
right.
yeah, I think I do.
So there are certain people that have more of this thing luck than other people.
I think luck can be being in the right place at the right time, right? Making the right decision at the right time. Of course, we don't know that we're doing that at the time, so that's why I kind of attribute it to luck, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're not sure about the decisions you make, or then you're not sure about what's going to come into your life at any given moment,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, and when things happen that you either can, don't have many problems with or associated with, I think it can be lucky in a way. So yeah, so I can't unfortunately, a lot of people, they've lost businesses during COVID. They've had lost jobs. They can't pay rent, and of course, that's not failure, and that's very unfortunate situation, right? And
yes,
yeah,
you and
so
I were both in a particularly good situation for this COVID disaster, this pandemic that's happened. I mean, the type of work that we have, although our work style, what we actually did on a day-to-day basis changed immensely. Having to learn how to do what we do through a computer instead of being in the classroom, for example, and so on. Those kind of things. This steep technological learning curve that was thrown at us, in order to be able to adjust to the demands of what were forced on us by COVID. But still, we were in a position where our jobs were not threatened. Our income was not threatened by this change. We still had our jobs. We still had an income.
yes, right.
Was that luck? I mean, that's the.
Yeah. Do you think? What about you? Do you think it's luck?
I don't believe in luck. No, I don't believe in luck.
Do you think
Things happen because they happen.
it's just coincidence?
Right. Yeah. Coincidence. I mean, yeah. I guess coincidence. I'm not exactly sure how to define coincidence. Coincidence is two things that are unrelated that happen to happen and seem to be correlated in some way. Yeah. I think the correlation is an appearance. Hello from Nashville. Oh, and Glendale. I'm sorry. I've been ignoring my comments there. Yeah, sorry. Yes. So Frank Lentz from Glendale, and Abyss Oh, don't stare into the abyss, Jeff. Don't stare into the abyss. All right, okay.
Great movie, by the way.
Oh, yes, it was. It was a fantastic movie. Another sci-fi classic, absolutely.
Yeah, that was a good sci-fi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how about synchronicities, Dan? You know, there's coincidences and there's synchronicities. Yeah, like.
So what do you mean by synchronicity?
Well, they say synchronicities is like a coincidence, but with meaning. Yeah, with kind of deeper meaning, right?
Okay. No, I don't believe in synchronicities either. Because well, I mean, meaning is, again, my view of meaning is only there is only meaning that we attach to anything, so it's completely subjective. So I guess, if that allows for synchronicities, so if I attach meaning to some co-occurrence of two events, and I attach some meaning to that, and you call that synchronicity, then yeah, there is such a thing. But I don't think there is any objective synchronicity in the world. I don't.
Right. So in that case, it's kind of like a placebo effect, sort of, right? It can be, and I tend to think of it somewhat like that too. If you think it's a synchronicity and it's a positive thing that happened because there's deeper meaning, that gives you more happiness or more content or more positivity, right? Or more confidence, then why not believe it, right?
Yes.
If it will help you go on. Yeah. Right. So.
Yeah. That's why, I mean, like I said, I don't believe in those things. I don't believe in luck or synchronicities and so on. But if that has a benefit for people, I am certainly not one to want to take that away from them. I mean, if they choose to believe that way, and it's a benefit, sure, why not? That's a good thing. Good is good, regardless of the source. Good is good, even if it's a manufactured source.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Good, Dan. Thank you so much. Yes.
I agree with Daniel. However, it merits to investigate causality and synchronicity of events to understand the deep connections between the seemingly discordant events.
I agree with that.
Yes,
actually,
absolutely.
Right? And that's interesting because some events are seemingly discordant, but yet kind of go together in a way, right? Right.
Yes.
So
I mean, yeah,
to think of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of relationships between any two events that might happen. Are they an indication of a synchronicity? Is there a causality? Or I mean, correlation does not necessarily imply causality one direction or the other. So yeah, it's definitely worth investigation. Any good scientist, I think, would agree with that also. And it's beyond that, it's interesting, it's fun, it's a good time to try and think about those relationships and what what, if anything, it means and what it means to you and so on. Yeah. Okay. All right. So Jeff, you look pensive there. Are you have any deep thoughts, any final deep thoughts regarding our questions here today?
Well, I think that the questions were good, very interesting questions today, Daniel. And I think the questions themselves can help us think of a kind of more connected world and how we want to go forward in the future. So yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah. So what I guess you corrected to when I said investigate the merits, I'm citing on the fact that scientific studies must be applied. Yes, science. I am a believer in science. Yeah.
Right. Me too.
Which is kind of why I lean toward the idea that there is no such thing as luck, at least as I interpret the meaning of luck. Things happen.
Because you haven't conducted any studies, scientific studies, right? There's very little data on that, I'm sure.
I'm collecting all kinds of data on you, Jeff. You're my experiment right here. So. Yeah. I've got stacks and stacks of data related to you, Jeff. So I just have to analyze it and see where the synchronicities lie, if there are any. Yeah.
Right. Well, I think it's worth doing
Thank
some
you,
study.
Abyss.
Really, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Abyss.
Yeah. This has been good.
Yeah,
All right.
it's been good conversation.
Yeah. All right. To end up here, this is something we haven't done before, but let me choose. I'll give you choose a category, Jeff. Choose a category. These are from just a little trivia quiz here at the end here. Okay, choose from either geography, entertainment, history, arts and literature, science and nature, or sports and leisure. What is your category?
Entertainment.
Entertainment. Okay. Entertainment question. What MASH character lives at 30 Briarcliff Lane, Boston? 30 Briarcliff Lane in Boston. Come on, you're a MASH fan, aren't you?
I am, but that was long ago. I'm just gonna have to take a wild guess. I just don't recall exactly.
Oh.
Are you talking the movie or the series?
The series, yeah. This character was not in the movie. So if you guys are interested, I did my first broadcast on Bayesian thinking on Saturday.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how relatable the subject is toward this conversation. Well, not necessarily toward this conversation, but Bayesian thinking, yeah, is very interesting. I was just watching some YouTube videos on. There are a couple of people that I follow, some scientific thinking people,
really,
on Bayesian, Bayesian thinking and so on. Yeah, it's quite interesting.
Very interesting. Yeah, I'm going to say Hawkeye, Dan.
Hawkeye.
No. Wait, let me take that back. Frank.
No. Boston. If I said Boston, which character in MASH comes to mind? Boston.
Gosh, I can't remember all the characters now. Even
Charles Emerson Winchester.
Right. The third, no?
That's right. Charles Emerson Winchester the third. Yeah. Charles Winchester. Yeah. Boston.
Also, one thing we might think of is for the next broadcast, maybe to give a quote or at the end, right? A quote we like, or book recommendation or website recommendation.
All right. Well, here's a broadcast recommendation we can make. Abyss has a and it's at @X_Abyss. Is the way we can find him here on Haps. Has done a broadcast on Saturday. This last Saturday, he did a broadcast on Bayesian thinking, which sounds interesting. I'm going to go and give that a watch. I really am. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Quotes at the end, things like that. I was just kind of plugging my own, my other broadcasts that I do, the American quiz and the Japan quiz that I do, and so on. I was thinking of broadening out and not limiting myself to just one country, but doing this kind of trivia quiz type of thing. Of course, they're pretty much America specific. A lot of the questions that I have access to, but no worries, Abyss. Definitely. Thank you for checking us out here. We try to do this. Oh, thank you very much for the award. I do greatly appreciate that. Those are always welcome. High five award, Jeff. We got a high five award.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. We do these at this time, 11 o'clock our time, so it's now 11:52, whatever time it is where you are. We do these we try to do them every Wednesday at this time. That is our plan. We're going to try and stick to that schedule, barring interruptions or other work-related things that we need to take care of. But I think we've more or less, it looks like Jeff needs to wrap it up here.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Okay. So let's call it a day. And thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Abyss, for the comments. I actually appreciate the plug that you gave about your broadcast, because I am interested in watching that. Also, thanks to Frank Lentz, who was actually the first commenter here. We appreciate that too. And that'll do it for today. See you again next time.
See you next time. Thank you all.